Hello and welcome to Fair But Firm. My name is Joe Cortez from Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Well, last week we had a great birthday party for none other than Leon Spinks, former heavyweight champion of the world. Now, Leon and his brother Michael were both gold medalists back in the 1976 Olympic Games. Michael being a middleweight champion and Leon the light heavyweight champion. And then in their professional careers, they both moved up and became world champions. Now, one thing about Leon Spinks and Michael that they have in common, they're the first set of brothers to ever win the heavyweight championship of the world. It was an amazing feat for both of them because you get two brothers come from Detroit, and here they come with the Olympic gold medal. And then Leon Spinks, 2 years after his winning the Olympics in 1978, to be exact, 7 pro fights under his belt, he beats and surprises the world, beats Muhammad Ali. And Saturday night, we had Michael Spinks there, we had Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Leonard, James Quick Tillis. James Quick Tillis is a fighter not heard of much, but back in the days, back in '86, he fought the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, who was the beginning of his career, had about 17 straight knockouts. And he fought James Quick Tillis. That fight took place in Glen Falls, New York, and I was the referee in that fight. And let me tell you, James Quick Tillis, he's about 6'5", and had a good jab, good lateral movement, and lasted the 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. And it was a pretty close fight. Last week, James Tillis tells me, "Hey Joe, you know I won that fight against Tyson, you know that, right?" I said, "You know, it was a close fight," which it was. I mean, that was the first time, like I said before, that Tyson went the distance. And you know, when Tyson would look these guys, stare them down, he would knock them out in 1, 2, 3 rounds. But not James Quick Tillis. And James Quick Tillis looked great. I mean, he was awesome. If you could get a chance to watch it on YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was a great fight. And Mike Tyson realized for the first time that he couldn't knock everybody out in 1 or 2 rounds. And I felt that back then, Mike Tyson was going to have a little tough time fighting fighters who were tall, long reach, and had good boxing skills. And if you remember, back in the day when Tyson lost his first fight was against Buster Douglas. Similar style, height, good boxing skills from the outside, and you know what happened, you know, it was the world was shocked because Buster Douglas was a 40-1 underdog and ended up knocking out Mike Tyson. So that's why when people say, well, that guy doesn't have a chance, always go and think back about Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. Any fighter who has any good boxing skills and has the heart to really want to win a fight can do it just like Buster Douglas did. But anyway, Saturday night at the Las Vegas Hilton, Leon Spinks was there, and we had all the great ones. Like I said before, Jake LaMotta, Sugar Ray Leonard, James Quick Tillis, Tony the Tiger Lopez, Billy Backus, Little Red Lopez, and Richard Steele, who refereed some of those great fights with Leon Spinks and Mike Tyson back in the days, and Sugar Ray Leonard. So we had John Stracey, a former welterweight champion from United Kingdom. And it was a great night. We had a show at after the party. We went to see a show called Rating the Rock Vault. Amazing group, oldies but goodies from the 60s to today. And it was a sellout crowd. Having Jake LaMotta up stage, I was able to get him to, he's very quiet, but when you give him the mic and says, "You're on," say what you have to say. He's a great comedian. He has his lines to talk about the days when he used to fight, when he was the first fighter to ever beat the great Sugar Ray Robinson, and they fought 6 times. So Jake LaMotta, he was a legend. And of course, Leon Spinks, I had him on stage, put the gloves on him, I had the mitts, and we did a little 30-second segment of Leon showing a little spark of the old flash of what he did when he beat the great Muhammad Ali, got a great standing ovation. It was a great night for boxing. And talking about boxing, the up-and-coming fights now, we have September 14th here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have the great Floyd Mayweather Jr. fighting against Canelo Alvarez. And that's going to be a great fight. The fight is sold out. They have all the other hotels here in Las Vegas that will be watching this fight on pay-per-view. So if you're in Las Vegas, you can't get into the venue because it's sold out. Go to some of the hotels, about 5 or 6 hotels will be showing the fight. And then they're going to have a great undercard of that. Danny Garcia against Matisse from Argentina. There'll be a super show that night. And then we have in October, we have Manny Marquez fighting against Tim Bradley. That should be an interesting fight. That will be held here in Las Vegas as well. It's a very, very good fight for the fans because Manny Marquez, being that he was a fighter to knock out Manny Pacquiao, and Tim Bradley beat Pacquiao, so it should be a great match for the fans to see who really comes up on top of that one. And then in November, we have again Manny Pacquiao versus Brandon Rios, and that fight will take place in Macau, China. It's going to be it's an amazing place. I was in Macau last year. Macau, China is like Las Vegas on steroids. I mean, the hotels there are unbelievable. You have the hotel just like you do in Vegas. The only thing is when you walk in, you see a lot of Asians there. That's the only way you're going to tell that you're in Macau, China, because the hotels look identical to the ones we have here in Las Vegas. The Venetian, the MGM, the Encore, the Wynn. I mean, it's just beautiful to see those hotels there and how beautiful they have it with all the lights. And like I said, it's much bigger with the lights and everything than we have here in Las Vegas. And you know, Las Vegas, when it lights up at night, it's the city of lights, and that's what you'll see in Macau, China. But boxing is, you know, going up the ranks again. We get some great fights, and we're looking forward to these amazing fights coming up in the next couple of months. So with that said, guys, I'll talk to you next week. Joe Cortez. Bye-bye.